IVM.
You are the most valuable investment you will ever make. Hi, I'm Zarina Poonawalla, your leadership coach, life coach, and emotional intelligence coach. You probably know me from the Empowering series, and this is my new show, The Life Manifesto with Zarina Poonawalla. I'm going to coach you to be the best version of yourselves. So get ready to create, attain, and manifest the life you've always desired and make it your reality. Why am I always so confused, so indecisive? Why am I always making bad decisions with my life? Why am I picking the wrong person to be in a relationship with? What if I make the wrong decision? Now, should I quit my job or take up a new one? Should I marry this person or that person? Should I probably move to London or Amsterdam? Should I work in my city or work in another city? As per brain researchers, the human brain is capable of making around 20,000 decisions a day at the speed of lightning. Right now, in fact, you may be in the middle of a decision-making process. Although it may seem small and inconsequential, it still is you making a decision. Like probably what to eat, what to wear, which podcast to listen to, and maybe even should I listen to the Life Manifesto? Well, also, since you have tuned in, congratulations, you've made the right decision. Jokes apart, Mark Zuckerberg is known to have a very basic wardrobe. Ironically, Michael Kors, a luxurious brand tycoon, also wears the same combination every day. So is the case with Tom Ford, Carolina Herrera, Vera Wang, and many people around the world. Many influential, affluent people around the world. They have very basic similar wardrobes in their everyday lives. Why though? Why do you think that is? It's because they have one less decision to make and have more mental space for crucial decisions. It's an efficient way of spending time. Because the smaller decisions have the ability to be time consuming. You can spend 2 hours before a party trying different outfits, and in the end, what do you wear? You wear the most comfortable outfit before you walk out. Now, the clothes wouldn't matter, but the time lost does. Then come the monstrous decisions, the bigger decisions with massive consequences in your life. They may be life events and have a rather strong impact on your life. Let's say like staying or leaving a relationship, what career to pursue, should you follow your passion and become a dancer or follow stability and have a safety net and become an engineer probably. Who to marry, of course. Should it be arranged or love, religious or liberal? Should you switch your job or start your own, probably a startup? Should you wait for an appraisal or move to a new organization? Should you have children or not? These are monstrous decisions, harder choices. Now, I wonder if you are one of those who often find themselves conflicted with making easy and hard choices, taking inconsequential and life-changing decisions, and being able to live with them without regret, without the ifs and buts, without ruminating over it. Do you know what's most common in bad decision making? Understand this very clearly and listen to me very clearly. The most common elements in bad decision making are the fear of the outcome, the anticipated regret of it being irreversible, and procrastination camouflaged as perfection. Let me tell you, making decisions is an inevitable, non-negotiable, and guaranteed process in your lives. So why are you trying to run from it? Why are you making others do it for you? So that you can blame them? So that you can put the whole buck onto them? Pass the monkey on your back to somebody else? Why try to hide behind the veil of perfectionism when in reality you are plainly procrastinating your right to decide just because you fear the outcome? So, are you ready to take some really strong decisions and be a better decision maker? So let's take decisions and make better decisions. An unpopular opinion, let me start with that. I disagree that bigger decisions need more time than the smaller ones. Yes, you heard me right. But it's safe to say that you need time to think. Moreover, you need weightage to analyze and respond. But the fact that we make bigger decisions, harder choices, a burden, and such a big deal in our heads, it paralyzes our ability to decide effectively, doesn't it? You get stuck, you're chaotic, you're so intertwined in your own mind that you do not make the right decision anyway. So why look at it like the big mountain? What I mean is, it basically boils down to this question: how do you climb a big mountain? The answer is one step at a time. How do you climb a tiny hill? The answer is still one step at a time. How do you swim across the ocean? How do you swim across the lake? How do you swim across the swimming pool? It's all still one stroke at a time. So big decisions or small, it's still one step at a time. Take a minute and let that sink in right there. Now, you're not going to fear the concept of decision making, all right? Oh God, no way, this is very big. I can't do this. What if I go wrong? Question is, so what if you go wrong? You'll make a mistake. Be ready to make a mistake. So what? That's okay. You are going to make a mistake in order to learn better, to do better. But as long as you learn from that mistake and you grow and hopefully not repeat it again, you're good. Beat decision paralysis and focus on the 3 C's of decision making. Clarify, consider, choose. Clarify what is the decision that you're trying to make here. Consider your options and choose the best option that you think you have in front of you. Now, naturally, I know you're going to say, Zarina, what if I have 2 or 3 options and all of them are the best options in my eyes? What if they're all right decisions? Then what am I supposed to do? What should I do? Then, in that case, you, my precious ones, will ask these questions. Does this decision make me happier? Does this decision bring me peace? What's in it for me? Does this decision make me stronger? Will this decision help me grow personally and professionally? That's it. Simple. Ask these questions. If you get more than 3 yeses, probably, you might be on the right track. You might be in the right direction. If not, you can try the limited option method. Just limit your options and then reason it out. This helps you avoid something known as stimulus overflow, which means when you're absolutely spoiled for options, too many choices. For instance, you go on to Zomato or Swiggy, you're thinking what to eat. Now you're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and you've got 20,000 options in front of you. So naturally, stimulus overflow, you're confused. Even though you knew you wanted to eat something, now you're confused because some place has a discount, some place is new, some place has your favorite food. You're confused. It's consumer pampering. For example, let's take IKEA. The display of IKEA is created in such a way that if you went in to buy a sofa set or a book rack, chances are you won't get to the cashier counter with precisely that. You will have at least one more unplanned item in your cart. Those are random decisions you take as you go along, and that is stimulus overflow for you. Set a deadline for your decision making. Kick procrastination and punch perfection. Set a deadline, meet it, and make it happen. Now, this next one is a method I've kind of invented, and I kind of have grown to like as well. Eliminate the I don't know bug. That statement, I don't know, is you not taking responsibility. You being better off blaming someone else for the decisions they influence in your life, or you probably just being plain lazy. While making decisions, the whole point of decision making is that you don't know, right? You don't know, and that's the reason why you have to choose, you have to decide. You're all in finding out, reasoning, comprehending. So stop the lazy brain response and just kick the I don't know bug, eliminate it, and instead try, I am going to figure this out, or I will know shortly, or hey, let's find out, right? That's what you do. Eliminate the I don't know bug. My favorite, avoid perfectionism. The idea of being perfect is just silly, I tell you. It's so silly. I mean, we're humans. We're not meant to be perfect. We are not a number, we're not an absolute. And our personalities, our behavioral patterns, they change, probably evolve for the better with time. Wouldn't you agree? So learn to avoid perfectionism and try to go ahead with, hey, let's see where this takes me. Of course, You don't jump into a marriage and be like, let's see where this takes me, with a person that you don't get along with. So do not think that's what I mean. I just mean don't try and put the pros and cons down to the tiniest details where you confuse yourself. And this one, you may think I'm crazy, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I've tried this one myself, and I've tried it, contemplated it, used a lot of theoretical tools. It's worked. So yes, I know it's crazy, but I'm going to share it anyway. Also, I don't want you to try this unsupervised. Just kidding. Toss a coin. That's right, you heard me correctly. Between two options, once you've tried everything else, if you have two options and you're down to two best options, I know you might think that's risky, and it could be, but that's not the point. Who tosses a coin, right, to make hard choices in life? That's not the point. The point is when you toss that coin, and when that coin is mid-air, your gut, your intuition, it has a chance of tilting favorably to one of the choices. And before it lands, you might know your preferred choice, because in your mind, you might be like, I wish it's heads, or I wish it's tails. Try it out. Try it out with smaller choices. Try it out with the inconsequential ones. You might be able to become a better decision maker because you're trying out methods to be able to decide better. So maybe you want to try this tonight as to which restaurant to pick or which cuisine to eat. And while you do that, when that coin is up in the air, when it's midair, you might be like, oh, I want to go for Thai. Or you might be like, oh, I want to have Indian food today. So by the time it comes down, you might have an answer even before the coin gives you an answer. I know it's a strange one, but then again, try it out. Outcomes cloud your judgment. When you think that every decision you make must always have a positive outcome, it's a great thought process, but it's not always pragmatic. Many decisions change on the basis of your ecosystem as well. So for instance, you saved up on a big family holiday and booked your holiday 6 months in advance. You were so excited and you were so happy and you were thrilled. The outcome was obviously positive. But then came the pandemic and the lockdown, and you didn't get to go for that dream vacation. The outcome wasn't met, but you are healthy and you are alive. So you win some and you lose some. That's how decisions get better. Focus on the outcome, focus on the objective, but don't rely your entire decision on that. Ask the questions I have mentioned above. Ask those questions about happiness, peace, growth, about whether it's hurting somebody or not. Ask questions. These are some really odd decision-making tools I've shared with you today, but use whatever you can, whatever floats your boat. And let me end this by saying, you have choices, easy and hard choices, and those choices lead to consequences. You know that. You already do. But between those choices and consequences come the decisions, and that's what matters. Make it count. Make you count. And of course, this is your life. Do what you love and do it often. And if you don't like something, change it. The power is within you. Thank you for tuning in to The Life Manifesto with me, Zarina. If you find the show useful, then please share it with your friends, family, and co-workers. You never know. You may just help someone become the best version of themselves. And if you want to align your life with some signature masterclasses, certification courses, and live sessions with me, go check out and download my app, Life Manifesto with Zarina Poonawalla. Available on Play Store or Apple Store. And if you have any suggestions or anything that you would like to share with me, get in touch with me on my social media handles. I am at Zarina Poonawalla on Instagram and LinkedIn, and at Zarina Speaks on Twitter. See you in the next episode.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. Episode 100! We've hit the 100th episode on Storytellers and Storytellers with Vineet Kanabar. Join us to take a look back at some of the best episodes so far. On Cyrus Says, Anushka Iyer, founder of Wiggles, tells Cyrus all about her pet care company. They chat about their mutual love for pets and how to best care from them. On The Habit Coach, Ashton learns 3 habits to better your handwriting from graphologist Imran Beg. On Fin Talks at Bob World, Akhil Handa talks to Gurjot Pal Singh. He's the CEO of Tide In. They discuss its digital banking services. In a new series called Ek Sawal Kai Jawab, the Pulyabazi hosts analyze why the number of government companies is increasing rapidly. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms you're listening to us on. And you can also check us out on YouTube. You can have a list of all of our shows at ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Bank of Baroda and CoinSwitch Kuber.
Working Monday to Friday glued to your chair making you feel dull? Worry not. Get your 5-minute weekly dose of travel around the world with Postcards from Nowhere. Join me every Thursday as I explore the strange, obscure, and fascinating parts of the world and bring out facets of travel you may not have thought of before. You can find us on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcast from.